Imagine waking up one day and realizing that the people you envy most are the ones you know the least about. They don't post their mornings. They don't share their victories. Their profiles are quiet, almost empty, and yet something about them feels solid, untouchable. In a world where attention is currency and visibility equals value, this silence feels wrong, suspicious, even. Why would anyone choose obscurity when validation is just one post away? Is silence a sign of emptiness or of depth? Are they hiding something or protecting something? And what if the people who seem invisible online are actually the most psychologically free? That question opens a door most people are afraid to walk through. Modern society has quietly taught us a dangerous equation. To be seen is to exist. Social media didn't invent this idea, but it amplified it beyond recognition. Visibility became proof of worth. Likes became feedback loops for identity. And gradually, the self stopped being something we are and became something we perform. Long before the internet existed, psychologists warned about the persona, the mask we wear to be accepted by society. The more we identify with this mask, the further we drift from who we actually are. Social media, at scale, is the ultimate factory for personas. It rewards exaggeration, conformity, and constant self-display. But not everyone plays this game. Psychology consistently shows that individuals with higher cognitive complexity and emotional regulation rely less on external validation. They don't need constant mirrors to confirm who they are. Their identity is internally anchored, not socially negotiated. Think about the people you know who seem the most secure in themselves. Notice how rarely they feel the need to broadcast their lives. This isn't coincidence. It's a pattern that reveals something deeper about how the mind works. Most people fear solitude because solitude removes distraction. Without noise, you're left alone with your thoughts, and most people are not prepared for that confrontation. So they escape into trends, feeds, and endless updates, anything to avoid the silence. Smart individuals often see through this mechanism early. They recognize that constant posting is not expression, it's compensation, a subtle attempt to stabilize an unstable self. This doesn't make them antisocial. It makes them selective. They understand that attention is not free. It costs time, clarity, and inner quiet. And so, instead of feeding the algorithm, they turn inward where real power is built. But this choice has consequences most people never consider. The human brain was never designed to process thousands of social comparisons a day. Every scroll activates the reward system in your brain, training your mind to seek short-term validation over long-term meaning. Psychologists call this variable reward conditioning, the same mechanism used in gambling. Sometimes you get likes, sometimes you don't. That uncertainty keeps you hooked. Over time, this reshapes identity at a fundamental level. People begin to confuse attention with importance. Silence starts to feel like irrelevance. Privacy feels like invisibility. Cognitive biases intensify the trap. We assume that what we see most often is what matters most. Loud lives look successful. Quiet lives look empty. But this is an illusion created by exposure, not truth. Smart individuals sense this distortion instinctively. They notice how constant posting fragments attention and erodes emotional stability. Emotional highs become dependent on engagement metrics. Emotional lows become harder to regulate without reassurance from strangers. Meaning, not pleasure, is the deepest human need. Yet, social media conditions people to chase pleasure in microdoses, likes, reactions, comments. The result is a generation overstimulated yet profoundly unfulfilled. Those who opt out often do so unconsciously at first. They feel calmer when they don't post, more focused, less reactive. Over time, this becomes a deliberate boundary, a line drawn between the inner world and the outer performance. But stepping away from visibility in a visibility-obsessed culture comes at a psychological cost. Others assume arrogance, secrecy, or boredom. What they don't see is the quiet accumulation of emotional independence happening beneath the surface. And that's where something shifts. True rebellion today doesn't look loud. It looks intentional. The most radical act in a culture addicted to attention is choosing privacy, not as isolation, but as sovereignty. The more intelligent a person is, the less they seek external stimulation. not because they lack desire, but because their inner world is already rich. Silence becomes nourishing rather than threatening. Breaking free doesn't require deleting every app or making dramatic exits. It requires a shift in orientation, from display to depth. Smart individuals replace public validation with private standards. Instead of asking, "How does this look?" they ask, "Does this align?" Instead of documenting experiences, they inhabit them fully. They curate their inputs carefully. Music instead of noise. Long-form thinking instead of endless scrolling. Old ideas instead of trending opinions. This isn't nostalgia. It's cognitive hygiene. Freedom begins the moment you stop outsourcing meaning to others. When you no longer need permission to exist, your behavior changes. Posting becomes optional, not compulsive. This is why emotionally stable people often appear disengaged online. They're not disengaged from life. They're deeply engaged with it. They build skill quietly. They think long-term. They understand that the mind grows in silence the way muscles grow under tension. And once you experience that internal stability, something irreversible happens. You stop needing to be seen. Here's the truth most people never reach. Silence is not absence. It is presence without performance. The smartest people don't avoid social media because they fear judgment. They avoid it because they've outgrown the need for it. Their confidence is not loud because it doesn't need to convince anyone. Becoming whole requires withdrawing energy from a crowd and reinvesting it into the self. Not permanently, but deliberately. Without this withdrawal, the personality remains fragmented, dependent, reactive. This is why quiet profiles often belong to grounded minds. These individuals have learned that peace is not found through expression, but through integration. They are no longer negotiating their worth in public spaces. And here's the paradox. The less they try to be seen, the more real they become. The less they chase validation, the stronger their identity grows. In a world screaming for attention, the calmest mind holds the most power. So the next time you encounter someone with no posts, no stories, no digital footprint, pause before you judge. You may be looking at someone who has already won a game most people don't even realize they're playing. Because the highest form of intelligence isn't visibility, it's freedom.